Hello, welcome to a new series of videos on being an early applicant for the university admissions year of 2025. This first one is all about why you would, why you wouldn't apply, and what it means to be an early applicant. So, what is an early applicant? Well, it's anything Oxford Cambridge, any clinical courses, some law courses, and some other courses. So any other courses that require you to apply by the early deadline, this information will be on their websites and on the UCAS website, is what we call an early application course. The date being the 15th of October for your application to be in. Now, with these, there will be extra stages and steps, interviews and tests, and so on and so forth. You will need extra support. Okay, more on that a little bit later. Now, why would you be looking at an early application course? What might be the reason? Well, clearly, if you want to be a doctor, you need a medical degree. Okay, if you want to be taught in a certain way that only Oxford and Cambridge do, you're going to have to go to Oxford and Cambridge. Okay, maybe you like the history of the school or the particular course content or particular college you've seen on an open day, and you really like it, and you want to go there and you think this academic environment is the perfect one for you, in which case that's why you'd be applying. There is the other argument people make, the prestige argument, which is, oh, I want to go to Oxford and Cambridge because I want to go to Oxford and Cambridge because it's Oxford and Cambridge. I would say that is a poor argument for going to Oxford and Cambridge. Go there because you like the university. There are tons of good universities in this country, right? But don't put yourself off. You are just as able as anyone else. If the style of teaching suits you, apply. So, there's differences coming in this year, which is why I'm doing these videos now, in terms of things like as fundamental as your subject choices. So we take Cambridge as an example. Be really careful that what you're doing matches the entry criteria for those subjects. So for medicine, for example, and this is fairly new, it's tightened up, students have to take chemistry and then two others from maths, biology, physics or further maths. Psychology and computer science do not count as science A-levels for medicine for Cambridge as of this year. Okay? Computer science, you need further maths. The only exception to that being if your school doesn't offer it. Okay? Then you'd have to show that you've done the learning to access the course. Natural sciences, applicants are now required to take maths and two other science subjects, which is a change to previous years. But crucially, there's no benefit to extra subjects. If you're still doing the end of year 12, 4 subjects, pack that in immediately, or even 5, pack that in immediately. The only exception to this is EPQ, which can give you a benefit at some universities by lowering a grade offer if you've got an A in the EPQ. Okay? But do look what is required and make sure that your curriculum matches the course. So, moving on, here's a really quick overview of what the early application process looks like. Okay? So we're in the summer term now, so now should be doing research. Okay, all my year 11s and 12s should be doing a lot of research about what they might want to be doing. Okay, then crucially in that research needs to be what test you need to do. Tests have undergone a huge change this year, so you really need to know what test and where you're taking it. Okay, if you were my student, I would want you to tell me at this point you were thinking of doing this, right, and let your teacher know, who's in charge of early applicants in your school, that this is what you're doing so they can offer you the best support. Then, test entry as of this year needs to happen as soon as the Pearson VUE website allows it, because all admissions tests are being done at Pearson VUE test centres. They are all digital. Schools are no longer a test centre. Okay, so that's the 1st of August to sign up for Cambridge admissions tests, the ESAT and TUMA, and then 15th for Oxford, which is their digital versions of their previous admissions tests. Write your statement, get started now. The blank page is the most important, most intimidating thing. More on that in a different video. Submit your application should be by the end of September. Bear in mind, when you hit pay and send, that does not go to UCAS. That goes to your school. That goes to your sixth form office. They then add the reference, check it all over, and then send it to UCAS. So if you're doing this on the 13th of October, you're too late. Okay? Tests are taken mostly between October the 15th and 31st. This is for Oxbridge. If you're a medic, you might be doing the UCAT at different times. The sweet spot for that is right at the end of your summer holiday between year 12 and 13. More on that in a subsequent video. Mock interviews should take place within your school around the sort of November time. That's when we do ours. Real interviews for Oxbridge will be December, first couple of weeks of December. MMIs for clinical courses could spread out over any particular length of time that they fancy. You'll get offers for Oxford and Cambridge in January, and then for medical schools, dental schools, veterinary schools later than that. And that's really intimidating. There's a hell of a lot of stuff in there, right? Then eventually you get your offer. But my advice to you is have a crack at it, okay? You're just as qualified or able as the next person. If you get 3 A's next year, no one's going to take that from you, and don't undervalue the soft skills, curiosity, maturity, and crucially, resilience. Because unfortunately, the most likely thing to happen is it will be a no. Okay? There's lots and lots of sport out there, so I'll leave you with this thought. The take-home message really is, yes, it's really tough to get a place. Yes, it requires extra work compared with other things. No, these things are not the be-all and the end-all, but why wouldn't you have a go? Right? You're just as qualified as anybody else. If you're getting triple A's, that's the kind of student that you are. And if you don't ask, you don't get. Okay, next up, tests. Thanks very much.